Good afternoon, hello, and welcome to the Omni Coalition News Show, aka TOCNS. This is a dive into the weird, obscure, bizarre, and other words for strange world of notable events, weather, and sports. Covering topics seldomly, if ever, seen from most news sources these days. Join us! During a time of political overabundance and divisiveness, we present you with more unifying topics to discuss for the most part. For links to the articles, pardon me, the music in the background, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar of the description below. Anyway, I am Aoxander, and your viewer are you. Today is Phrase Day, aka Friday, September 8th, 2023. So let's jump into the news today, shall we? Starting Oddity Central, man drowns after being pushed off ferry for arriving too late. And yeah, several of these actually I've seen in the meme realm, specifically Meme Droid and whatnot. I have seen this video. I didn't realize this guy died. It says here, Greece was recently shocked by the tragic death of a man who drowned in the waters of the Mediterranean after being pushed in by the crew off a ferry boat for coming aboard on the last minute. The incident occurred in Piraeus Harbor, close to the Greek capital of Athens. CCTV footage shows a man running down the ramp of the Blue Horizon ferry boat just as it's getting ready to leave the port. At this point, the sea vessel is still connected to dry land, but as two crew members attempt to stop the man coming aboard, the boarding ramp retracts and the man falls into the gap between the ferry boat and the port. At this point, the crew appears to just do absolutely nothing to help the man, who is clearly struggling. The boat simply continues its journey to the island of Crete before being ordered to return to Piraeus by the port authorities. Videos shot by ferryboat passengers and eyewitnesses on land show the man trying to stay afloat, but no one actually does anything to help. It's unclear how much time passed until the Coast Guard finally arrived, but one thing is for sure, by the time they pulled him out of the water, the man was unconscious and he was later pronounced dead. That is very unfortunate. I mean, you know, they should have done something to help in the very least. Like, I understand you have a schedule, the guy was late, you know, he was wrong on that, but, like, you know, they just let him die. Like, that's just heartless. And I've been noticing a really, really gross trend in humans lately, and people are just becoming more and more heartless. And it's really, really sad. But for further reading on this article, and because there is quite a bit more here, and of course all the other articles are already down in the description, the underbar below. We got to move up, though. We have more from Oddity Central. Workers smash shortcut through Great Wall of China because they got tired of going around it. Yeah, this has been going around the mainstream news on YouTube, at least. You know, all the big guys like, you know, Tim Pool and probably just talked about it. Benny Johnson, I believe, spoke about it. Liberal Hive Mind or Salty Cracker, one of those two, I know, spoke about it. And this is just ridiculous. So, two Chinese workers were recently arrested for irreparably damaging a section of the Great Wall of China by smashing through it with a heavy machinery to create a shortcut. It was an excavator. They were trying to get it somewhere, and the wall was in the way, so they just used the excavator to destroy the wall. So China's Great Wall, one of the very few man-made structures visible from space, was built over several centuries from the 3rd century BC. Long sections of the giant structures are still around today and are protected as heritage sites, but that did not stop two ignorant workers from simply smashing through a part of it that just happened to be in their way. The two suspects, a 38-year-old man and a 55-year-old woman, were working near the affected area and got tired of having to go around the wall in order to reach their destination. They decided to extend a gap in the centuries-old structure to then drive their excavator straight through instead of going around. Lazy fuckers. Like, I hope they get, you know, the death penalty. They deserve that, you know. Like, say what you want about China. I'm not too happy with them right now, but the Great Wall is something that should be cherished and beloved by the entire world. And for them to just do that is just, they deserve to get exterminated. So, anyway, moving on up, more from Oddity Central. Doctor who studied 5,000 near-death experience cases claims there is life after death. A Kentucky oncologist who studied nearly 5,000 near-death experiences cases over the last 37 years claims that he has come to believe that there is certainly an afterlife. Jeffrey Long was an oncology resident when he first came across an article describing a near-death experience. He was studying how to best treat cancer using radiation at a library where he came across this fascinating case that ended up changing his life. Up to that point, he had been taught that people were either alive or dead, But there was this cardiologist describing the incredible experience of a patient who had died and then came back to life. Long was eager to learn more about near-death experiences, or NDEs, and he became so obsessed with them that after his residency he founded the Near-Death Experience Research Foundation, and he has since collected and studied thousands of NDEs. His conclusion: there is definitely life after death. Although every one of the over 4,800 near-death experiences he has studied over the last 3.5 decades is different, or everyone, many of them share certain patterns. For example, about 45% of people who have had near-death experiences also have had an out-of-body experience, which can be described as their consciousness separating from the physical body, usually hovering above. So, that's really interesting. This is interesting. Wow. You know what? I'm going to put this in the peanut, actually, right now. Where is Discord? There we go. I definitely want to talk about this, because this is incredible. So, let's move on up. What else do we got? The world's oldest living chicken is over 21 years old. That is one old chicken. Peanut, a chicken from a no-kill farm in Michigan, is the current Guinness World Record holder for the world's oldest chicken at 21 years, 156 days, and balking. Counting. Chickens have an average life expectancy of 5 to 8 years, so Peanut is somewhat of a Methuselah of the aviary world. On January 28, 2023, she was officially crowned the world's oldest chicken by Guinness World Records at the ripe age of 20 years and 272 days. She has since turned 21 and is in chasing the title of oldest chicken on recorded history. But the craziest thing about Peanut is that she almost never existed. 21 years ago, her owner was getting ready to throw a batch of rotten-looking eggs out and that had been abandoned into an alligator pond when she heard a faint chirp from one of them. This little chick was tiny to begin with, but it never grew past 1 pound, roughly 1/3 of the size of the other chickens on the farm, so Marcy named her Peanut. The Michigan native never imagined that the brown speckled chick would be with her and her husband for over 2 decades. They celebrated Peanut's birthday in May, and she's apparently as healthy and energetic as ever. So cool, old chicken. Alright. Moving on up, what else do we got here? 11,000 runners disqualified for cheating during Mexico Marathon. Oh, what? 11,000 runners out of the 30,000 participants of last month's Mexico City Marathon have been disqualified by organizers for cheating by cutting out sections of the 26.2-mile course. Marathon cheating is not exactly unheard of. In fact, it occurs at almost every major event, and offenders include some of the world's most acclaimed athletes, like Australian ultramarathon runner Josiah Zakrzewski, who was accused of using a car during a race, or Kelly Agnew, who allegedly hid in a portable toilet to avoid running several race laps. However, this year's Mexico City Marathon may have set a record for the highest number of disqualifications due to suspected cheating. A whopping 11,000 runners, more than 1 out of 3 participants, were disqualified for using various means of transportation to cut out sections of the race. Wow. An investigation began when organizers received several complaints regarding runners using cars, public transport, and bikes to cheat during the race on August 27th. When checking data on the 5-kilometer trackers that monitor whether participants passed through all sections of the marathon, they found that thousands of runners had not actually completed the entire event. Wow. Wow. All right. Well, let's see. We got to move on because we have quite a bit of stories today. We haven't done a news show in about a week, so yeah. And this only goes back to the 5th, so, we don't have that entire week here. Anyway, sick, lonely man is begging authorities to let him into prison. Well, just go commit a crime or something, bro. Like, a 60-year-old Spanish man who claims to be desperately lonely and suffering from serious health problems has been trying to be let into a state prison because he doesn't want to commit any crimes. Justo Marquez, a 60-year-old from Granada, Spain. Why can't I talk today? Has been standing outside the Alherian de la Torre prison in Malaga for days, hoping to be allowed inside. He has been photographed holding a sign that reads, "I want to go to prison," and he told journalists that he has already met with the prison warden who has so far denied this voluntary incarceration. Marquez, who reportedly suffers from cancer, depression, anxiety, and heart problems, said that he is desperate to stop being lonely 24 hours a day, and that prison is his best option to do that. Wow. Like, how awful is the world where people are, like, wanting to go to prison? I mean, like, I've heard stories And like this is actually true. There is actually one case of someone who robbed a bank for $1 in order to get away from his wife, and he ended up being on house arrest. Like that actually, I believe, happened. Although I'm not sure. Maybe it was like a fake thing that, because of its hilariousness, blew up online. Because that's rather an old story, but still, like, you know, people wanting to go to prison because, like, you know, they have nothing better in life. They have no hope. They have nothing. Like, it's 2023. You know what's going on? What's going on? Earth, you are in trouble. Anyway, moving on up more from Oddity Central. Bride ended up marrying father-in-law after groom fled from wedding. What? After an Indonesian groom disappeared on his wedding day, his father assumed responsibility and married the bride just so the expensive event would not be canceled. Wow. What was supposed to be the happiest day in one Indonesian woman's life quickly turned into a humiliating nightmare after her husband-to-be disappeared right on their wedding day. Well, maybe something happened. The young woman, identified only as SA by Indonesian media outlets, hails from the village of Jikotamo, South Halmahera, and who is said to be in a long-term relationship with the groom. However, on August 29th, on the day of their wedding, the man ran away, leaving her to explain to the guests that the wedding was off. This was apparently considered inconceivable by both families, as the wedding preparations had cost a small fortune and the dowry had already been settled, so the groom's father stepped in and married SA. Huh. In a video that has been doing the rounds on Indonesian social media, the grooms and the bride's fathers can be seen taking part in the bizarre wedding ceremony. Only one of them is actually playing the groom. This is wild. What the hell? Okay, well, they're saying that he ran away, but earlier they said he disappeared. So, if anybody can follow up on this and tell me, like, what exactly did he just not show up, or did he actually, like, run away? Like, no. But we gotta continue on here. Woman stole a phone by chewing through the store's anti-theft cord. What are you, a beaver? Why, a rat? Unable to fight the desire for a phone that she could not afford to buy, a Chinese woman ended up stealing a new iPhone by ripping through the anti-theft cord with her teeth at an Apple store. What? The woman, surnamed Q, became the talk of the internet in China earlier this month after the security cameras at an Apple store in Fuzhou City, China's Fujian province, caught her stealing an iPhone in a rather unusual way. Footage that has since gone viral online shows the woman entering an electronics store and heading straight for the smartphone section, where she proceeds to inspect the device on display. She can be seen glancing around furtively to see if anyone else is around, before grabbing an iPhone and starting to chew on the anti-theft cord, securing the device to the display stand. If you ever messed around with the anti-theft cord on the display phone, you've probably accidentally triggered an annoyingly loud alarm. As you can imagine, ripping through the cord with your teeth has a similar effect. However, in this case, was lucky that the staff simply ignored the sound, thinking it was just a false alarm, and shut it off, allowing the woman to simply walk out with the stolen handheld. Wow. Yeah, later on they found the missing phone, notified the police. China's facial recognition technology is notoriously efficient. Yes, it is. And authorities managed to not only identify the woman in record time, but also place her in custody just minutes after she got home. Oh, wow, get screwed. Well, is this a video? So, like, yeah, okay. Oh. So, yeah, she's literally just chewing through. Wow. Wow. That's ridiculous. And you know what? Those things have GPS. They can track it. Like, you're literally, like, taking something that they will know where it's at all times. Like, and you probably can't activate it. You need a SIM card, you know? You're going to do all that yourself? I think that requires proprietary machines. I don't know. It's an Apple product, so... Anyway, moving on up to UPI, aka UPI. Yoga classes, meditation exercise confused for ritual mass murder scene. Yeah, they all look, annihilated. Police descended on a community space in Britain where some local dog walkers mistook a yoga class's group meditation exercise for the results of a ritual mass murder. Oh my god. The Seascape Cafe at the North Sea Observatory in Chapel Street, Leonards, England, detailed the unusual incident in a Facebook post. The class's teacher, Millie Laws, wrote on her Unity Unity Yoga Facebook page that police were called when some local dog walkers mistook the scene for a ritual mass murder. Oh my god. Oh, that's hilarious. Hey, you know, that just goes to show there are still some good things in the world, you know? People just, like, well, in California I can't say this, but at least, in Europe, or in wherever this was, they see a bunch of bodies and they actually notify the authorities. Out here, they'd be like, oh, look, another couple of bodies. Anyway, let's go to Starbucks and get a Frappiato. Anyway, more from UPI. Rescuers move 5,000-pound concrete slab to rescue kitten. You know, stuff like this keeps happening, and, like, we are teaching these animals to be dependent on us. We got to, like, if they're stupid and they get themselves caught in things, you know, let natural selection. Wean out the weak, you know, like mold them into things that can survive the city, because the city ain't going until we go, you know. So until then, we gotta help animals by not helping them at all. But anyway, it says here, animal rescuers in New York said they had to lift a 5,000-pound slab of concrete to rescue a kitten trapped 30 feet down a drain. The Strong Island Animal Rescue League personnel worked together with police when a kitten was heard crying at the bottom of a drain covered by a large concrete slab near Port Jefferson Station on Long Island. Rescuers used jacks and a hydraulic rescue tool, sometimes known as the Jaws of Life, to remove the slab from the top of the drain. The kitten was then removed from the drain and taken to Jefferson Animal Hospital. Alright. The feline was found to be in good health and will soon be available for adoption. Alright, cool. But, like, does anybody really want to, like, you know, like, dude, we're training them to be stupid. Like, stop. We think we're helping them. We're not. We're making animals dependent on us, and that is not good. Because eventually humanity will go. And if all of these animals are dependent on us, then we're going to take down countless species with us in one last swing, like the dodo. You know, and we almost extincted the bison. They're coming back, though. Same with all the whales. The manatee, though, is no longer on the list, I don't believe. So there's that. That was 2019. Anyway, more from UPI. Pennsylvania man goes to 777 movies in a single year. That's a lot of movies. A Pennsylvania man earned a Guinness World Record by going to the movies 777 times in a one-year period. What is this, a slot machine? Zach Swope, at the age of 32, of Carlisle, started his attempt with a screening of Minions: Rise of Gru. That's an awful way to start. In July of 2022, and completed his record attempt with a showing of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny 1 year later. That's an even worse way to finish. Blech. Swope broke the record of 715 set by French cinephile Vincent Crone in 2018. Swope said he saved on movie tickets in his to his local Regal cinemas by signing up for Regal Unlimited membership, which allowed him unlimited trips to the movies for $22 a month. Regal employees monitored Swope during his screenings to make sure he was following the rules set forward by Guinness World Records, which included not taking bathroom breaks or having any snacks or beverages during the film. Well, that's not right. You know, let the guy eat. Come on. Anyway, that's interesting. That's a lot of movies. What else do we got here? Bodybuilding chef chops cucumber blindfolded for world record. A Canadian chef known for his knife skills broke a Guinness World Record by chopping 166 slices of cucumber in 30 seconds while wearing a blindfold. Wallace Wong, a chef and bodybuilder known as a six-pack chef on TikTok, put his chopping skills to the test for an episode of Guinness World Records Italian TV series Le Show des Records. Wong donned a blindfold and chopped some long strips of halved cucumber into 166 thin slices in the 30-second time period. Alright, well, let's take a look. Oh, yeah, bandage. Whoa! Wow. Like, he's, like, right there with his finger. That is... Alright, well, that's pretty cool. What else do we have here? Beyonce fan goes into labor during California concert. What? A Beyonce concert in California became extra memorable for one fan when she went into labor during the superstar's performance. Sarah Frances Jones, an actor and dancer who has appeared in films including Honey and Hairspray, said she and her partner, the neighborhood actor Marshall Spears, were attending Beyonce's concert Monday night at the SoFi Stadium in Inglewood when she started having contractions a few days before her date. Jones and Spears said they both initially thought the cause was Braxton Hicks or false labor. The couple determined while leaving the concert that Jones might actually be in labor. Baby Nola arrived on September 5th, missing out on sharing Beyonce's September 4th birthday by only a few hours. Oh, wow. The couple chronicled their journey from the concert to Nola's birth on Instagram. Alright, well that's interesting. So, I don't know why you're going to a concert so pregnant. Like, that's not intelligent. So, but whatever. Anyway, moving on up. More from UPI. 7-year-old makes 2.95 carat discovery at Arkansas Crater of Diamonds. A 7-year-old girl on a birthday trip to Crater of Diamonds State Park in Arkansas found a big present, a 2.95 carat diamond. Arkansas State Park said Aspen Brown of Paragould, Arkansas was visiting the park with her family to celebrate her birthday when she spotted the diamond in the park's North Church area. Officials said the 2.95 carat diamond is about the size of a green pea with a golden brown color. The diamond is the second largest found by a park visitor this year, officials said. The largest was a 3.29 carat brown diamond found in March. Alright, so the Minister of Hope. The Murfreesboro Park was mined by commercial diamond hunters before becoming a state park in 1972. Well, that's pretty cool. I want to go there and see if I can find a diamond. What else do we got here? James and the giant peach. Here we go. Colorado Orchard's 2.02 pound peach might be a new world record. Awesome. That is a big peach. That is a big peach. That is a whoa. That's a meal. That's a double meal. A Colorado orchard owner said he believes a 2.03 pound peach grown on one of his trees might be a new Guinness World Record. Brian Cox, owner of the Black Bear Orchards in Palisades, said some workers discovered the unusually large peach earlier this week. The peach weighed in at 2.02 pounds, which Cox too discovered was considerably larger than the current Guinness World Record, 1.75 pounds. Alright, well, good luck to you, and get that on record before that thing rots and starts losing weight, and you know, you want to eat that thing too, man. Like, actually, yeah, eat that and plant the seed. You know, maybe you might, like, you know, make a whole bunch of big peaches. That'd be cool. Like, you know, turn into Brian's, like, massive peaches. Like, you can make a whole thing out of it, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a botanist. What else do we got here? I saw this, you know, going around in the meme world as well. Coast Guard arrests a man trying to run a giant hamster wheel across the Atlantic. And this is not the first time, if my memory is correct. Try as he might, Reza Baluchi can't reach his destination without running afoul of the U.S. Coast Guard. The key problem is his vessel, a giant floating hamster wheel made of buoys and wire, self-propelled by Baluchi running inside. Baluchi, who lives in Florida after being granted asylum from Iran, was taken in by the Coast Guard last week aboard his vessel, following several days of back and forth with the authorities. According to a criminal complaint filed in the U.S. District Court in South Florida, the Coast Guard cutter Valiant came across Baluchi and his homemade vessel about 70 nautical miles east of Tybee Island, Georgia, on August 26, as the Coast Guard was preparing for Hurricane Franklin. Go away, pop-up. He told officers his destination, London, England, more than 4,000 miles away. What are you doing? What? You're gonna die out there, bro. For further reading on this, because this is a long story, please, once again, go to the under part of the description. All the articles are down there. And, yeah, they put in the work. They make the articles. I just read this to spark your interest. Please go give them the foot traffic. Give them the ratings. And, you know, be updated with current events. You know, that, as far as I'm aware, is only brought to you here. Anyway, moving on up. More from NPR. Monster hunters are conducting the largest search of Loch Ness in more than 50 years. Huh. Give me a minute. I've been talking for almost a half hour straight. I need to drink some water. Researchers and monster hunters are gathering in the United Kingdom's Scottish Highlands this weekend to look for the eternally elusive Loch Ness Monster, aka Nessie, the biggest search for the legendary beast in more than 50 years. Somewhere beneath the shimmering surface of Loch Ness lies Nessie, the legendary sea beast whose reputation spans nearly 1,500 years. At least that's what the monster hunters and Nessie enthusiasts from around the world hope to prove Saturday and Sunday. The Loch Ness Center and research group Loch Ness Exploration are asking all aspiring monster hunters to join in on the biggest search since 1972. So yeah, anybody, you know, cryptozoologists and all that stuff, the call to arms has been sounded. Your adventure awaits. So yeah, hopefully something's found, you know, because, I don't know, something's out there. Yeah. It can't all be false. It just can't. Anyway, what else do we have? Last but certainly not least. People are freaking out over a giant question mark seen in space. Scientists can't explain. Okay, so we have a question mark. That's kind of weird. The James Webb Space Telescope recently captured a stunning new image of what scientists call a pair of actively forming stars. But eagle-eyed viewers were quick to seize on an even tinier and some more intriguing detail at the very bottom of the frame, an orange formation in the unmistakable shape of a question mark, tail and all. Well, I mean, I don't remember the exact name of the theory or law, but like the universe is so vast, so infinite, that eventually, just due to the laws of probabilities, everything exists in some way. So somewhere out there, there's a giant question mark in space. Well, here it is. It says here, the photo, which is actually a composite of a half dozen infrared images, went viral on social media sites like Twixter and Reddit. I love how it's like X, formerly Twitter. After the European Space Agency, one of the 3 agencies behind the telescope, shared it late last month, prompting the ESA to clarify weeks later that it's not a hoax. The photo shows a tightly bound pair of young stars known as Herbig Haro 4647, surrounded by a disk of gas and dust and dotted by distant galaxies and stars in the background. Okay, I see the little question mark. Huh, okay. ESA says Herbig Haro 4647 is important to study because it's only a few thousand years old, and since stars take millions of years to form, its young age offers researchers a chance to observe how stars gather mass over time and to potentially model the formation of one of the most famous stars, the Sun. Even so, scientists acknowledge it is not the only notable formation on the photo. Macarena Garcia Marin, a Webb project scientist with the Space Telescope Science Institute in Baltimore, which manages the telescope's science operations, told NPR in an email that the question mark is a great example of how, with Webb, no matter what you're looking at, you can have surprises in the background. So what exactly is it here? Scientists say the punctuation-shaped object appears to be 2 or more galaxies merging, the intense process through which galaxies collide. The Milky Way itself is the byproduct of one such merger. Okay, so it's galaxy collision. Alright, well, I guess, question mark? Pun not intended, but well received. Let me, see. Alright. Well, that shall be the end of the show. Once again, please check the underbar, the description for any links you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. Please go to our link tree. Go check out our other video sharing, streaming sites. Go check out our social media. Go check out our affiliates. And yes, of course, all of these articles that we just went over are down there as well. Anyway, for your dose of different on and unusual news, we stream every Tuesday and Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific Time, which is 4 Mountain, 5 Central, and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. For all of you and all of us, I am Xander, and you are you. Until you catch us next Tuesday, or if you're interested in some history, we have a history show every Friday through Tuesday. That's a weird way to say things. At 11 in the morning Pacific Time. Might be doing the ufology show tomorrow. I'm not sure. I have not been in contact with Rob at all. So maybe next week. But definitely the Peanut is coming up on Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific Time. Anyway, until you see us whenever, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection. Rate 5 thumbs and subscribe. Toodles!